Councilman Cantwell, thank you very much. Pleased to have the FTC in front of our committee today. Thank you for making that possible. Commissioners, earlier this year, you announced a legal action against 3 brokers based in New York who allegedly used automated software to illegally buy tens of thousands of tickets for concerts and sporting events and then resold them at higher prices. This action represents the first ever utilization by the FTC of the authorities provided to it under the BOTS Act, which I introduced with Senator Schumer, and it became law in 2016. So first of all, thank you for utilizing the authorities we granted you. The question, it could be for all, but I have several other questions I'd like to get to. I'd just like an update. Do you have the necessary authorities that you need to pursue these kind of price gouging opportunities, this unfair trade practice exhibited by those who buy things and sell them at much higher prices utilizing the computer?
Thank you, Senator. As you know, this is an issue that's close to my heart as well, and I was really happy that we were able to bring these cases. It's another example of Congress speaking recently, telling us that something is a priority, giving us authority, and us going out and using that authority as Congress intended, hereby using civil penalties to make sure that the cost of breaking the law is higher than the benefit that the companies derive from it. So you've given us that authority in this particular case, and we're going to continue to look for ways to use it, and we appreciate it.
So you have what you need, Commissioner?
I think on these questions, particularly about bots, yes. I don't think that that gets necessarily to the entirety of the issues in the ticket markets, which also implicate competition concerns as well. But that's where we need to be applying our antitrust tools as well as our consumer protection tools.
Me and my staff welcome any input that you would have in how we could be of help in that regard. My state, like many, earlier this year experienced severe cold weather. Occurred in the month of February. It drove up increased demand for natural gas throughout our region. This weather impacted municipal gas utilities and their communities who had no choice but to purchase gas at significantly inflated prices by the magnitude of hundreds of percentage more than the normal cost at that time of year. And now we're left with the consequences of trying to pay those bills. In February 22nd, the Regulatory Commission, Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, FERC announced an investigation. I am just interested, Chairwoman Slaughter, is there any interest in this topic at the FTC?
Thank you, Senator. I think it's fair to say that energy markets are important to us for a number of reasons. And what you're talking about particularly sounds to me a lot like price gouging, which is a real problem, one that has not historically been addressed under the FTC Act, but I am very interested in making sure that we are really using the full breadth of the law that we have to attack market practices that are unfair to consumers as a method of competition. And price gouging can sound in that space as well. So I think it would be a new effort for us, but that doesn't mean it's not one that we should explore.
I think Senator Blumenthal and I have explored this topic of price gouging with the FTC before, and maybe it was also in our appropriations process with the FTC before us. Let me know, or my staff know, if there's something that you would request of me. Finally, 13B authority. There's a case pending before the Supreme Court that could severely impact the FTC's ability to obtain monetary relief when the commission has reason to believe a company is violating or is about to violate a FTC statute a statute that the FTC enforces. If the FTC's understanding of Section 13B is held by the Supreme Court to be incorrect, there will be a significant impact on the FTC's ability to force companies to pay restitution to defrauded customers. While the FTC will still be able to get an injunction against a company's behavior, it would no longer be able to collect those damages. While the FTC's 13B authority has been debated in recent months, I propose to give the FTC other important authorities to enforce privacy obligations in my Consumer Data Privacy and Security Act introduced last year, soon to be reintroduced again, with continuing efforts with Senator Blumenthal to see if we can find a bipartisan solution along with Senator Cantwell to accomplish that. That legislation includes first-time civil penalty authority and new rulemaking powers. How important is it for these new authorities to the FTC's ability to be able to enforce federal privacy law? And do you support the inclusion of new authorities in federal privacy legislation?
Thank you, Senator. I would be happy to review the specific provisions of the act, the bill that you're talking about. But as a general matter, yes, I think new authorities, new remedies would be very helpful in federal data privacy legislation.
Are you prepared to ask Congress to respond should the Supreme Court rule in a way disfavorable to the authorities the FTC currently believes it has?
Yes, in fact, Senator, we have already asked Congress to respond. The 5 sitting FTC commissioners on a bipartisan basis last fall all wrote together to ask you to act quickly to restore the 13B authority. Chair Cantwell has talked already this morning about the importance of acting quickly, and I would just encourage you not to wait for the Supreme Court to rule, because the uncertainty around our 13B authority is already affecting our cases and hurting consumers.
I would express to you and to Chairman Cantwell, Ranking Member Wicker, that I'm certainly prepared to engage in that process.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being with us this morning, and I look forward to seeing you in person in the future. I look forward to seeing you in front of our Appropriations Subcommittee as we determine not only the authorities in the Commerce Committee, but the funding in the Appropriations Committee for the FTC.